IBG News Radio Service. News read by Mirai. This news is sponsored by Rank Tech Solutions. We shop retail shopping platform for business to overcome the challenges raised by global pandemic. Dr. Maria Van Kerkhove, COVID-19 Technical Lead, WHO Health Emergencies Program. So, Omicron, the latest variant of concern that WHO is tracking, has been detected around the world. It is efficiently transmitting. And in fact, everywhere where we have good sequencing, this variant is being detected, so it is circulating globally at the present time. It was first reported, in fact, in South Africa and Botswana. And in those countries, Delta was circulating on a low level, so Omicron took over quite quickly in terms of circulation to become the dominant variant circulating. In other parts of the world, Delta was circulating intensively. And so, as Omicron was introduced into those populations, what we are seeing is co-circulation of both Delta and Omicron. Now, in some countries that have had a few weeks of circulation of Omicron, Omicron is taking over. It's replacing Delta. But in other countries, that hasn't taken place yet. What we are seeing is a very sharp increase in case numbers. You will have noticed in the latest WHO update almost 10 million cases reported in the last 7 days. And that's the highest number of cases we have seen to date. In the last 24 hours, there has been almost 2.5 million cases, or more than 2.5 million cases. Dr. Maria Van Kerkhove, COVID-19 Technical Lead, WHO Health Emergencies Program. So, there are several reasons why we are seeing such a sharp increase in case numbers. First is the emergence of Omicron and the circulation of Omicron, which transmits very efficiently between people. There is a number of reasons for this. First is the mutations that it has. The virus is able to adhere to human cells more easily. It has mutations that allow it to do that. Second is that we have what is called immune escape. And this means that people can be reinfected either from if they had a previous infection or if they have been vaccinated. Now you have to remember, vaccines are incredibly effective at preventing severe disease and death, but they don't prevent all infections and they don't prevent all onward transmission. So it is still absolutely critical to get vaccinated because it will save your life, but it doesn't prevent all infections or transmission. The other reason is that we are seeing replication of Omicron in the upper respiratory tract, and that's different from Delta and other variants, including the ancestral strain which replicated in the lower respiratory tract, in the lungs. And so this combination of factors allowed the virus to spread more easily. But what is also important to remember is that this is in the context of people mixing more, people coming into contact with others more, people not adhering to public health and social measures like distancing, wearing of a well-fitting mask, avoiding crowds, spending time more outdoors than indoors, and in the northern hemisphere, where it's getting colder, and we are in the winter months now, people spend more time indoors and particularly in crowds. All of those factors allow viruses to spread, whether it's Omicron or something else. Dr. Maria Van Kerkhove, COVID-19 Technical Lead, WHO Health Emergencies Program. With regards to the severity of Omicron, we are learning more about this every day. What we understand from a number of countries and the studies that are coming from a number of countries is that your risk of developing severe disease or needing hospitalization from Omicron is less compared to Delta. That doesn't mean that it's a mild disease. It does mean, though, that if you are infected, that your chances of needing hospitalization are less. What we do know also from a number of countries is that your risk of developing severe disease increases with age, and that's the same as with Delta. It also increases if you have underlying conditions. And of course, it's increased if you are not vaccinated. So this is why it is so critical that when it is your turn that you get vaccinated, you receive the full dose because vaccination is saving lives. Vaccination is preventing people from developing severe disease as well as going on to dying. And that's true for Delta as well as for Omicron. Dr. Maria Van Kerkhove, COVID-19 technical lead, WHO Health Emergencies Program. It's really important that our healthcare systems do not get overburdened. I mean, we are in the third year of this pandemic, and health systems are really stretched. Our health workers are incredibly stretched. Many of them are getting infected right now from being in the community, as well as being in the healthcare facility itself. And this has an impact on the care of patients, not only for COVID patients, but also for other diseases and other emergencies. IBG News Radio Service. News read by Mirai. This news is sponsored by Rank Tech Solutions. We shop retail shopping platform for business to overcome the challenges raised by global pandemic. Dr. Maria Van Kerkhove, COVID-19 technical lead, WHO Health Emergencies Program. As the virus circulates into the third year of this pandemic, we will see more. So it is very unlikely that Omicron will be the last variant you'll hear us speaking about. This is why it is so critical that we focus on getting vulnerable populations around the world vaccinated and that we increase vaccination coverage in all countries, not just in some. So please get vaccinated when it's your turn and really fight for vaccine equity and demand that from the leaders where you live that we need people to have access to life-saving tools like vaccines. At the same time, we have to continue to drive transmission down. We can not only focus on vaccinations, it's vaccines and not vaccines only. So everyone needs to play their part in reducing the opportunity to get infected and to spread this virus. And there is a number of things that we can do. Distancing, masking, improving ventilation, avoiding crowds, keeping your hands clean. All of those layers of interventions keep you and your loved ones safe. Dr. Maria Van Kerkhove, COVID-19 technical lead, WHO Health Emergencies Program. The general public out there, what you need to worry about is just reducing your exposure to the virus that's circulating where you live, if it's Omicron or if it's Delta. We want people to understand and feel empowered that they have some control over infection. We have heard some people suggest that Omicron is just mild. That's not the case. There is evidence that Omicron is causing less severe disease, but it doesn't mean that Omicron is mild and Omicron is not the common cold. So please take measures to keep yourself from getting infected. One last point to mention is the risk of developing post-COVID-19 condition or long COVID. We do know that a proportion of people who are infected with this virus can go on to develop long-term impacts, which are called long COVID or post-COVID-19 condition. And so that's reason enough to try to prevent yourself from getting infected for that. But don't forget about this because we want to make sure that we keep you safe from infection yourself, developing severe disease, passing the virus to somebody else, but also to prevent from developing long COVID. Dr. Maria Van Kerkhove, COVID-19 technical lead, WHO Health Emergencies Program. I know this can be incredibly frustrating as we enter the third year of this pandemic and everyone is exhausted. I am too and frustrated. But what we need to do is to stay strong, stick together, and stay vigilant because if we work together, if we fight for vaccine equity, if we adhere to these measures together, we have a much better chance of overcoming this virus together, and we will. All pandemics end. This pandemic will end. We really do need to stay strong. We need to stick together. I would also emphasize to really be kind to one another because this is wearing thin on our patience and how exhausted all of us actually are. But please remain vigilant.
IBG News Radio Service. News read by Arthur. This news is sponsored by Rank Tech Solutions V-Shop retail shopping platform for business to overcome the challenges raised by global pandemic. 24th National Conference on E-Governance 2021 successfully concludes at Hyderabad. Hyderabad Declaration on E-Governance adopted after 2 days of intensive deliberations. Next generation administrative reforms to bring citizens and government closer on digital platforms. Secretariat reforms, Swachhta campaign, redressal of public grievances and improving service delivery to be focus. E-office and CRAMs to be promoted. Exchange of views between award winners and unicorns held. Posted on the 8th of January 2022 4:39 p.m. by PEEP Delhi. The Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, DARC, and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MeitY, Government of India, in association with the State Government of Telangana organised the 24th Conference on E-Governance, NASEG, 2021 on 7th, 8th of February 2022 at Hyderabad, Telangana. The theme of this conference is India's Techade, Digital Governance in a Post-Pandemic World. At the valedictory session today, Hyderabad Declaration on E-Governance was adopted after intensive deliberations during the sessions held over 2 days. The conference was inaugurated by the chief guest, Dr. Jitendra Singh, Union Minister of State, Independent Charge, Ministry of Science and Technology, Ministry of Earth Sciences, Minister of State in the Prime Minister's Office, Minister of State of Personnel, Public Grievances, and Pensions, Department of Atomic Energy and Department of Space, Government of India and presided by Shri K.T. Rama Rao, Cabinet Minister for Municipal Administration and Urban Development, Industries, Information Technology Electronics, and Communications, Government of Telangana. The 24th NASEG represented a platform for constructive exchange of ideas on some of the latest technologies for promoting e-governance. The distinguished speakers invited for the conference shared their knowledge and insights on the themes identified for the conference. The 24th NASEG 2021 provided all participating state and UT government teams with a detailed view of the latest concepts and technologies to promote e-governance, and enable them to go back with useful takeaways for being implemented in their respective states and UTs. Over the 2 days, discussions were held on 6 sub-themes in plenary sessions: Atmanirbhar Bharat, universalization of public services, innovation platformization, emerging technologies, ease of living through technology interventions for good governance, government process re-engineering and citizens' participation in government processes, India's Techade, digital economy, digital payments, building citizens' confidence. There were also parallel breakout sessions where the awardees of National E-Governance Awards 2021 from centre, state and district showcased their award-winning entries. These sessions were on the themes, Unicorns of 2021, demonstrating power of innovation, digital excellence at district level, Seamless, creating a technology innovation ecosystem, end-to-end service delivery without human interference through technological interventions, replicability and sustainability in e-governance best practices. An exhibition including a Wall of Fame was also organized during the event to showcase India's achievements in the field of e-governance. Over 50 speakers presented their papers in semi-virtual mode. The conference was attended by over 2,000 delegates in semi-virtual mode. To recognize the implementation of e-governance initiatives, the National E-Governance Awards 2021 were presented during the inaugural session. 26 awards were presented under the 6 categories of the award scheme to central ministries/departments, state/UT governments, districts, local bodies, public sector undertakings and academic and research institutions. This include 12 gold, 13 silver and 1 jury award. The 24th NSEG provided a platform for the delegates, including senior government officers from across the country, industry stalwarts and researchers, to share best practices, latest technology developments, thus leveraging them for achieving effective governance and public service delivery. The focus of all the sessions was on learning by experience, sharing effective e-governance tools for benefits of the citizen, and achieve Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi's vision of minimum government, maximum governance. IBG News Radio Service. News read by Arthur. This news is sponsored by Rank Tech Solutions V-Shop retail shopping platform for business to overcome the challenges raised by global pandemic. Hyderabad Declaration. The Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, DAP, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MeitY, Government of India in collaboration with the Government of Telangana organised the 24th National Conference on E-Governance at Hyderabad during 7–8 January 2022. Under the visionary leadership of the Prime Minister, the e-governance landscape of India has radically changed in scale, scope and learning paradigms. As India celebrates 75th year of independence as Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, the Prime Minister's clarion call for adoption of next-generation administrative reforms for bringing citizens and government closer was the focus of the conference deliberations. Secretariat reforms, SWATA campaign, redressal of public grievances and improving service delivery, which form the core of India's good governance model, were deliberated. During the pandemic, the widespread adoption of e-office helped create paperless offices in the Central Secretariat, and enabled smooth governance functioning. Programs helped redress 20 lakh public grievances in 2021. The National E-Governance Awards were conferred in the inaugural session. The two-day conference held exchanges of views between the award winners and unicorns. The conference has unanimously adopted the Hyderabad Declaration outlined below after intensive deliberations during the sessions held over 2 days. The conference resolved that Government of India and state governments shall collaborate to bring citizens and government closer through digital platforms. Transform citizen services through use of technology by leveraging the artifacts of India stack that include Aadhaar, UPI, DigiLocker, UMANG, eSign and consent framework. Fast-track the implementation of the national-level public digital platforms in key social sectors viz. health, education, agriculture, etc. by adopting open interoperable architecture for joined-up connected services. Operationalize the data governance framework to facilitate data sharing within government entities, as also make available all data on data.gov. In except for a negative list. Enable protocols for data collection, data harvesting, data privacy, data anonymization, data security, and data preservation that can help build a data economy. Foster responsible use of emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, 5G, augmented reality, virtual reality, etc. for social empowerment. Make India the global hub for emerging technology through creation of large pool of skilled resources on futuristic technologies. Ensure resilient government infrastructure with robust, technological solutions to withstand pandemic-like disruptions. Foster a spirit of research and development and process re-engineering in ongoing government services. Uplift good governance to higher level through healthy competition among states and UTs, and among central ministries by benchmarking services. NI-STA 2021 to be adopted in collaboration with MeitY for improving e-governance landscape. Integration of all state/district portals with QRAMs for seamless redressal of public grievances. Replication of awarded projects under National Awards for E-Governance 2020-21 and their nomination for dissemination of best practices through regional conferences. Adoption of e-Office version 7.0 in all ministries and departments. Use technology for propagating end-to-end service delivery without human interference to the citizen at the grassroots level. Make digital the primary aspect of government service design and delivery and provide requisite infrastructure to achieve that.
IBG News Radio Service. News read by Billy. This news is sponsored by Rank Tech Solutions V-Shop retail shopping platform for business to overcome the challenges raised by global pandemic. Need to link weavers and artisans through e-commerce platforms and leveraging of technology, Shri Piyush Goyal. Use of less water and waterless printing technology in textile sector is the need of our, Shri Goyal. No stone to be left unturned for the growth of livelihoods in handlooms and handicrafts sector, Shri Piyush Goyal. Need for further simplification of processes and for an effective online dashboard-based monitoring system for transparency, Shri Piyush Goyal. Need to complete all craft villages in next 6 months, Shri Piyush Goyal. Weavers and artisans should be assisted in marketing their products through all platforms of e.g., Delhi Hut, Urban Huts, and Handloom Hut, Shri Goyal. Shri Piyush Goyal, Minister for Commerce and Industry, Textiles, Consumer Affairs and Food and Public Distribution reviews the functioning of the Ministry of Textiles, its autonomous bodies, and PSU under its administrative control. Posted on January 8, 2022, 3:35 p.m. by PIB Delhi. Shri Piyush Goyal, Minister for Commerce and Industry, Textiles, Consumer Affairs and Food and Public Distribution reviewed the functioning of the Ministry of Textiles, its autonomous bodies, and PSU under its administrative control. Speaking on the occasion, Shri Goyal said that there was an urgent need to link weavers and artisans through e-commerce platforms and leveraging of technology. He said that no stone is to be left unturned for the growth of livelihoods in the handlooms and handicrafts sector. The meeting was also attended by Ms. Darshana Jardosh, MOS Railway and Textiles, senior officials of the Ministry of Textiles. Textiles being a very diversified sector, wide-ranging issues and activities were discussed in the meeting. There was a special focus on the livelihood sector of handlooms and handicrafts. Implementation of schemes in these sectors was discussed in detail. Shri Goyal directed for simplification of process and for an effective online dashboard-based monitoring system for transparency. He also advised all officials to maintain good communication with state government functionaries to improve the outcome and impact of the central government schemes. In this regard, he asked the officers to organize a virtual conference with the state government secretaries responsible for this sector. The progress of craft villages was reviewed, and the minister directed for the completion of all these projects in the next 6 months. Shri Goyal emphasized that the weavers and artisans should be assisted in marketing their products through all platforms of e.g., Delhi Hut, Urban Huts, and Handloom Hut. He also advised leveraging technology by linking these weavers and artisans through e-commerce platforms available. The minister also asked the officers to work with a motto to increase the share of weavers/artisans in the consumer spending as done by Dairy Cooperative Amul for milk producers. The minister advised the officials to properly implement Samarth, the skill development initiatives of the ministry. He emphasized on the use of technology for effective monitoring for a better outcome. He also reviewed the work of the production-linked incentive scheme for textiles. He directed for finalization of scheme guidelines for the PM Mitra scheme quickly so that proposals can be invited from state governments. Shri Goyal advised the officials to focus on sustainability in the textiles sector. He said that there is a need for improvement in effluent treatment infrastructure for the processing segment, and at the same time there is a need for promoting less water and waterless printing technology. Ms. Darshana Jardosh, MOS Textiles, also guided the officers to work in field along with state government officials for a better outcome. Shri Goyal asked the officials to quickly seize the opportunity to increase the textiles exports, which will not only bring foreign exchange but will also create huge employment opportunities for millions.
Thanks for being with us. Have enjoyable time. Jai Hind and watch us for next bulletin.